Welcome to Newswire, news for Nebraska's farmers and ranchers. Harvest is in full swing, and that means farm equipment on the roads and heavier truck traffic. It's a time when Nebraska State Patrol reminds everyone to use a little extra caution.
Know the width of your equipment, the size of your equipment, the roads that you're traveling on. Drive cautiously, watch out for the other drivers on the road that might not be paying attention. The slow-moving emblems on the back of the vehicles, you might have some pilot cars out there with you as well. There's going to be a lot of wildlife running out of cornfields, moving today that can be chased out that you need to watch for as well.
As farmers get grain out of the fields, they want to make each trip count. Thankfully, state law allows farmers who are hauling grain from the field or stockpile to market within 70 miles to exceed weight limits by 15%. Sergeant Aaron Watson says there are requirements to be exempt from obtaining an overweight permit.
Still can't go over 20,000 per single axle. That's the max on a single axle, but any group of axle or gross weight can go up to 15% over. You still want to load for legal if possible in the field. That's what the trucks are made and designed to be able to stop and carry. But it does give you a little bit of grace in case you do go over because of unlevel ground, things like that may cause you to go over. You do have to have a handwritten permit. Technically, it just could be on a piece of paper though, and you just need to write where you're coming from and where you're going to. It does need to be signed by the representative or the owner or operator of that grain. It can be from a place of storage, such as a stockpile or a grain elevator, or it can be out of the field, out of the combine or the grain bin, to that place of market. So it's from storage or stockpile or the field to a place of market. That is year-round now. They did change that and allow you to be able to do that as well.
Sergeant Watson says the overweight permit exemption can be applied to commercial drivers, but only if they are hauling from field or stockpile to market. And they must have a signed form in their truck that includes origin and destination information.
It doesn't have to be dated, so what I recommend to the farmers out there is, you know where your fields are, you know where your markets are, go ahead and get that permit filled out. And then I would say stick it with your registration. So if you hire or you ask somebody else to at last minute to maybe drive your truck in for you, and if we ask for it, we're going to ask for the registration. When they go to look for the registration, they're going to find that permit even though they may not have seen it, and that would still cover them. So it doesn't have to be dated, but it does have to have where you're coming from, where you're going to, and then signed by the owner or the representative.
Sergeant Watson says your truck must be registered for the maximum amount of weight the vehicle can haul. And while you do not need an annual inspection, he urges farmers to do a pre-check and maintenance of their trucks. He also says to pay special attention to weight limits based on axles.
You have just a two-axle truck, in other words, a steer and a single axle on the rear. Typically, you can't go over 20,000 pounds on any axle, but in that combination where there's only two axles on the truck, the steer and one rear axle, that rear axle can go 15% over that 20,000. That's the one exemption for that. When it comes to like a split tandem, so like two axles that measure up to 10 foot apart from center to center on the back. So if you have maybe a 5-axle truck where there's the steer, a tandem on the truck, and then a split tandem that's 10 foot, at that, those rear two axles, that split tandem would be 20,000 each, so they wouldn't be able to go over that 20,000. They would not get that 15% because each one is already maxed at 20,000. A typical tandem is 34,000, and the 15% brings them up to 39.1. So where that split tandem can actually weigh 40, that would be more than the 15%.
Nebraska Farm Bureau is making it easy for our members this harvest season with our exemption form for overweight permits. Simply log in to nefb.org, download and print the form, fill it out, and keep it in your truck. By using our form, you can be exempt from getting an overweight permit and focus on getting the job done at home. Thanks for watching this week's Newswire.